It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. I want to thank everybody that actually subscribes to my show and show me love all over the world. In the House of the Legends, I have somebody that's been around for a very long time. This guy is phenomenal. He's a DJ, he's also a host, and amongst other things as well. But we're going to get into him. And in the House of the Legends, I bring you Les Calloway. What's going on, Les?
Hey, what's happening?
Like I said, I'm digging your world back there, man. It's like awesome, you know?
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, that's a screensaver. No.
Oh, really? Okay, that's
no,
cool.
I'm just kidding. It's not.
All right.
They
So
actually
let's
call
we're
it
gonna
the
talk
Star-
about you.
They call it the Starship
Okay.
Enterprise.
Okay. Well, hey, man, you can beat me up, you know.
There you go.
Listen, we're gonna talk about you in the beginning because you go way back, man, and tell the viewers about how you actually got into the music craze.
Um, my mom was a nightclub manager for Reuben Johnson, uh, who owned most of the clubs in Newark. Um,
Okay.
Executive Suite, Touch of Class, many more. Um, didn't really have babysitters, so I actually got a chance
Okay.
to be in the club at 13 because I wasn't staying
Okay.
home alone. uh,
I hear that.
they didn't have cameras there. So I
Mhm.
wound up working in the club at night as a
Mhm.
barman, really getting deeper and deeper into the music, buying
Right.
vinyl. I mean, I was always attracted to music. That started at a very, very young age. But
Mhm.
got a chance to mix at 13. That's when that started at the
Right.
Executive Suite. And
Mhm.
that was the beginning for me. Short version.
Okay. So you at the age of 13, I guess you go back to like the disco era at that point.
I did. I was there when actually a little before it started. But when it started,
Right.
yeah, I would think so. I think you're talking about around 75, actually.
Yeah, somewhere
76.
around that point. Yeah, and stuff. And so by you actually being that age and actually starting to mix, did it develop a passion for you at that point?
The passion started years ago. I mean, I think the first time I got my first clothes in play at 5.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know if you remember that Viewmaster that had a turntable connected to it.
I
So,
believe so. Yeah, back in the
so my
days. Yeah,
my parents
you're
bought
going
me
back.
albums at 5, 6, 7. I got deep into the '60s era. I learned a lot about jazz. My father played a lot of jazz growing up,
Okay.
so I was in tune to a lot of things that were going on. A lot of Barry Gordy stuff as well.
Okay.
So I really got in
Hmm.
tune to music at a very, very, very young age,
Right. And
way
so
before
at
disco.
that okay, but at that point, who were you actually listening to that actually influenced you at the point where you said, "Well, listen, I want to take this to a whole different level in my life." So,
That's a good question. I was listening to
who
cats
sparked you?
like man, I was listening to Casablanca Records. I was listening to,
Well, okay.
I mean, there was Giorgio Moroder. There were
Yeah,
so many
Maroda, yes.
great artists back then.
Hmm.
Tom Moulton. Uh, that was the beginning of it. So when I got there, I mean, we were just literally starting into the
Right.
disco era. So we had like the Bee Gees. We had
Hmm.
a very eclectic group
Okay.
of things to listen to. So
Okay.
I got that bug when I first got in that club, and I
Hmm.
heard these speakers that were called AST ass kickers.
AST,
Um,
yeah. Remember, yeah, AST,
right,
downtown
used to be
Brooklyn, yeah.
downtown in
Downtown
Newark, in
Manhattan, yeah.
Manhattan.
Right, right.
Yeah, so
I used
I
to go
got
get
the
my
first taste
speakers.
of that
I
bug.
used to go get my I used to get my speakers fixed there. Remember Henry
Right.
that used to work in AST? Yeah.
Yeah, AST was off the chain, man. I loved AST.
Yes, most
So
definitely. Yeah.
that's when I guess Serwin Vega was pretty big then. Bozaks were
Yeah.
big. The first mixer I ever got to play on was
Right.
a Clubman 2-on-2.
Me too. The
Yeah,
101.
man.
Oh,
Everybody's
you
like,
got it too.
Knox.
Okay.
I'm like,
Okay.
I'm good with the slide. I kind of grew up with the slide. I'm good.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
as years go by, man, especially when you're going different places, you develop the skill between the rotary and the slides. But I prefer the slides
Absolutely.
actually.
Yeah.
That's how
So
I actually
with
got.
with
You
my
know.
style, I like to ride stuff out, but I also like the quick mix. We came from an era was very crossed. So
Mhm.
we had like Marley Marls, we had like Kid Capri's on top of everything else we were listening to. So you
Right.
kind of learned how to flow and
Mhm.
drop quick
Right.
mixes, and
Right.
we had bits and pieces,
Right.
Mark
Right.
Mendoza,
Right.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, the Latin
The break.
Rascals.
The break.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
breaks, right? So we had all of
Right.
these things, and it just
Right. Exactly.
made you change your style from just playing the track, playing another track, playing another track. Not that there was anything wrong with that.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that
Right.
the era of
Mhm.
Dave Mancuso, sculpted an era, sculpted a whole world
Mhm.
around playing track after track. Love parties this weekend, by
Right.
the way.
Right. Right. I hear
So
you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. When I first got into it, my favorite album back then was an album called by Brazil, Peanut Vendor. I don't know if you heard of that, but
I
that was the
I
monster bomb
I have.
back in the days.
Actually,
Yeah,
if you look behind me,
and
that's
so
all
so
vinyl. You're
now,
looking at That's vinyl you're looking at behind me.
okay,
It's all rows
okay.
and
So
rows
you're
and
very much
rows of
in
stuff.
tune.
Yeah. Still pull it out every once in a while.
I hear you. So um, so my whole thing is that from now to then, it has made a transition as far as the game's concerned. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, these days I think a lot of mixers are forget that everything is not 125, 126 beats per minute.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Um, they
Hmm.
re- they refuse to go back to 112, 105. The hit and runs and all of the
Right. Right.
classics that are there.
Hmm.
They kind of just try to keep it
Right.
core to the floor. And I think as well
Right.
as our audience is mixed and blended, I think they also appreciate the classics a lot because it brings them back from where they came. Um, the history,
Hmm.
the memories, you know.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
and I think that a lot of times when you go out now, unless you're going to a classic event, it's
Hmm. Right.
mainly four to the floor.
Yeah. So my question is it hard for a DJ today due to a crowd? Is it really hard to break a record?
No, actually, because of Twitch, it's a lot easier. In the clubs, there's a tendency to play the most hottest tracks that are well known, and everybody plays the same thing in a rotation. You'll throw things in that are new, but you got to keep to a standard because that's my song is what keeps the club open and keeps the liquor flowing, right? The beautiful thing about Twitch is that we're able to champion a lot of artists that don't get played or you don't necessarily hear them as much as you would want to. Like Randall Smooth is a perfect example. He's a phenomenal artist. Seductive Sapphire, who's part of our moderated team. There's so many artists out there that just don't get the
Yeah,
airplay.
he's off a little
But when
bit.
they come into our rooms, we push their stuff. We drop the Bandcamp, the track source, whatever it is
Right.
that helps to promote them. SoFile's Music Collage is always built
Right.
on helping others to build up and to blow up. Promoters,
Hmm.
musicians, producers, and of course mixers.
Right. Do you feel that record pools make sense today due to the fact of those other platforms?
Yeah, they do. Record pools never will go away. It's just a matter of what record pools are legit, what record pools aren't. You'll find a lot of stuff that isn't on a record pool. Like going to Bandcamp, you'll find so much stuff on Bandcamp, stuff on SoundCloud, just outside of TrackSource. Nothing wrong with TrackSource because there's a lot of stuff there. And I think that sometimes music is timeless. So you don't want to really get caught up in what's the hottest and the newest, but you want to be able to flow back. You want to be able to say, hey, you know what? What came out in 2010? Now, TrackSource does a really good job of that. You know, they've got stuff that goes way back. So you can go back and play a track from back in the day and say, hey, you know what? Here's something you haven't heard in a long time. Kind of like a classic, if you will. But I think that things are a lot easier because of social media. We didn't have that.
Yes, I hear you. I think right now it's a little bit different because going back to when I was growing up, we had the record pools where we had to actually, report stations, give back feedback sheets in order for us to actually get our product.
You had to fill out those sheets, or you wasn't getting anything on a return.
You had to, or you wasn't getting anything. And even if you go to the companies directly, they got you in the computer, and they'll tell you exactly. I remember going to RCA when Steve Stoff was there, and another guy came in and he asked for some pick up some music, and Steve Stoff said, "You're not even in the computer, man. I'm not giving you anything because you're not doing what you're supposed to do," and that made it real for me. But what we're going to do, Les, we're going to come back. We're going to take a little break. We're going to come back and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.
For the love of house,
the dynamic soul sounds of
for the love
DJ
of
Tyrone Lowe. DJ Tyrone Lowe. DJ Tyrone Lowe.
Oh, that's nice.
DJ Tyrone Lowe. The dynamic soul sounds of DJ Tyrone Lowe.
And we're back. My name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. And in the House of the Legends, I have my guest, Les Calloway. What's going on, Les?
They actually refer to me as musicologist one master mixer. That's the moniker.
Okay. One master mixer.
Most people don't know me as Les Calloway. They know me as one master mixer.
Let me ask you a question. Are you related to
Calloway?
Yeah, Calloway.
He was my great uncle.
Okay. I knew there was some type of connection right there because that's a very, the name itself made me think about that. So I think I would ask you the question. Now we're going to talk about your show because you're also a host.
Oh yeah. Well,
so let me ask you a question. Let's talk about your show and tell the viewers what it's all about.
Okay. Soulful House Music Collage was established in 2007. We have a following of over 20,000 people, a movement, if you will, on Twitch as well as globally. We're known. We have about 50 DJs who play 7 days a week for the love of house. We have amazing moderators. We have a house mother, Honeydew Barb. We have Sweet Tea. We have Vivacious Vivian. We have Seductive Sapphire. We have, now I'm starting to pull blanks, but I'm not going to do that. We have Tasha, my wonderful moderator, Tasha. We have Vintage Lady. Mm-hmm. We have Queen Alex. We have a lot of moderators that do their thing. We've got Brian Tomaj. We've got Law Will. We've got so many people that show love for our group. And we've championed a lot of talent And we're so thankful that each and
Okay.
every one of them do their thing each week.
So how did you come about it? You just got up one day and said, "Listen, I'm just going to start my own hosting. I'm just going to be a host, and I'm going to just go ahead and just start this off."
Well, actually, it started with Deep House Page. Remember that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So we used to do these. I used to put these podcasts up, and it started out that I would drop my own podcast, drop my own sets weekly, drop them, and then, my whole life, all I've ever wanted to do was help other people. It's never really been about me. It's always about helping others, because that's what God wants you to do, right? So I decided to put
Right.
DJs that didn't receive any exposure, as well as DJs that because I had sets from Timmy Regisford, I had sets from Tony Humphreys, I had a set from Dave Mancuso. So I would incorporate them, but I would really focus on people like Zephyr Saint. Zeph was one of the people that got a chance to actually pop out. Before he became popular, he was on my podcast. It was an honor to have him.
Okay.
And a lot of people that are now still playing have been guests of the podcast, and it would be posted each week on Deep House Page. Shout out to Timmy.
Okay. So let me ask you a question.
The way it started, and then we
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We went a little further. I learned a lot from watching Cyber Jams and New Age Soul and all these other cats that were doing their thing, and decided we wanted to go video. And we started out on you probably know Rawcast. You remember Rawcast with Marcus Rice and Jimmy?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Well, they were doing it, but they weren't doing video.
Okay.
So we decided to try to take it to another level, and we incorporated video into that, and then eventually we just branched out, and it just got bigger and bigger, and it just hasn't stopped growing. So we left because Facebook came in, took over everything, and decided they were going to. Shout out to Face to Base, by the way. They decided they were going to go ahead and start playing on their own because all their people were in there. So we kind of shut down. Plus, it was getting expensive. Ustream wanted us to pay $100 a month. No. So we shut down for a little while. When COVID opened back up, we came back. So with the help of DJ Phantom and my other brother, Mark, we were the Soulful One. We were able to open up on Twitch and be one of the first groups to open on Twitch. And SHMC was reborn. And we just, while COVID was going on, we were blessed to help a lot of people that were not able to go anywhere but needed to get their house groove on. We're almost at like 7 days a week. We're almost at 24 hours a day, most of the time if I can stay up. But there were people who were suffering from illnesses, and we were the go-to. We helped a lot of people, and that's such a blessing. For me, that's all I really needed. Short version.
Right. It's cool that it's cool when you actually go back and people that's really trying to really make it or make a name for themselves. It's good to do that for them because they got to start somewhere. So why can't it just start with you? You know what I'm saying?
And it's funny because those opportunities expanded. Like a lot of people have been able to go overseas and do other things because they were seen. And we have a global presence. So we have DJs that are global around the world. Right now, I think in July, I'm supposed to go meet a lot of our cats in Brazil. I'm going to shoot over to Brazil and hang out with Milton Sugara and our brother Guy, who's a webmaster, and all the other cats, Leandro P, Leandro D. I'll just stop dropping names, but Marcos and Claudio. We have a lot of cats that are over there, and it's going to be an exciting time for me to be able to finally go over there and see them.
So, are you doing any clubs right now? Anything that's Are you playing anywhere now, or?
Not yet. Next year, I'm kind of interested. Right now, to be honest with you, I'm still coming out of that COVID phase. So I'm dropping into different clubs to visit. But right now, I'm kind of satisfied with being at home sometimes. I got a couple of toys. And by the way, the reason Sofa House Music started in the first place, Sofa House Music Lodge, is because I was a stay-at-home dad, and I had to look after my son. I was a single parent.
Oh, okay.
I became a single parent. So I couldn't go out to the clubs and mingle. I needed to be the dad, stand up. So I decided I needed an outlet before I go crazy. Thus, this was part of the outlet that helped me.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. If you had to take it to another level right now, what would you actually do as far as your show's concerned?
Well, taking it to another level, that's a really good question. Production. I want to try to start getting production. We are already registered LLC under SHMC Media. So we do have the ability to start producing. That would be the next phase. Maybe figure out another couple of platforms that we could use to expand on. We're looking at doing some festivals. Those are going to happen next year. So we want to be able to branch out. We'll do something in Jersey, move to New York, move to Chicago, and then branch out as far as we possibly can reach.
Okay. Let me ask you a question for people that really want to get into hosting, DJing, production, and things of that nature. Do you have anything that you can say to encourage them in the craft?
Yeah. Make sure your equipment is right. And just like we spent money back in the day on records, we're prepared to spend a lot of money. But once you're set up, if you got your OBS, your camera right, your microphone right, your sound system is pristine. I do suggest anybody that's coming into this game, don't even blink. Go buy Focusrite. And trust me, I'm not getting anything from Focusrite for saying that. But Focusrite makes a change on your system. Your system becomes pristine. So, and make sure you have enough RAM in that computer. Use two computers, one for your OBS and one for your system, what you're doing. That's vital and make sure that your router is strong. Man, there's so many things that go into this. There's a lot of people that didn't play on SHMC or just came as guests, because we have guests weekly, usually two guests weekly. And, even with them, my goal is never to help them because they're a part of SHMC, but to help them because they need help, help them get a start any way that I can.
Right.
So, try to be the instrument, try to be the vehicle. And if you need help, shout. There's enough of us doing it.
I'm glad that you are. Yeah, I'm glad that you're that type of person, because I've actually ran across some people that are very selfish about certain things, especially when it comes to the craft. They act like they're only God's gift to doing this. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't like people like that. I believe that you get a blessing if you're sharing, your thoughts and sharing the craft itself, because through experience, you never know when you just might need that person. You know what I mean? In a sense, you know what I'm saying? So it's a good thing to know that you're willing to share. And,
and by the way, I still would like to have you as a guest.
So what are you doing? Oh yeah, no problem. I have no problem with that. So what are you doing these days, man, with yourself, man? Tell the viewers a little bit about what you're doing these days to keep it current.
Man, well, I own Sofa House Music Lodge. It takes up a lot of my time. I do tech work on the side. I have a couple of gigs that I do outside of the music that help, to keep the wheels spinning. I dedicate a lot of my time to SHMC, 7 days a week, and it is probably at least 5-6 hours a day on top of everything else that I'm doing, and my hours are long. I wouldn't have it any other way, because I see the joy that the DJs get, the joy that the people get in the room, the joy that the moderators get. It does something to really spark me to continue. you know. So what am I doing right now? That's kind of where I am. I try to stay current by, being a part of record pools and doing my best to go to Track Source and listen to music. I kind of got a crutch because I listen to all of these DJs who play all week. So I can go ahead and say, hey, man, what's the name of that track? Where can I get it?
Mm-hmm.
And I can get tracks that probably most people miss. So, yeah, it's a great entity.
Right.
Yeah.
What type of house what type of house is just strongest for you as far as what you're feeling? Afro, gospel, soulful. What's your strongest as far as?
For me, I'm very eclectic. I mean, we came from an environment that was eclectic. I mean, we had an MTV in the middle of everything. We were, going to the Ritz. We were going to CBGBs. We were going to all these different clubs besides the Red Zone, the Studio 54s, the Red Parrots, the Garage, the Loft, all of the stuff that was in Jersey. So for me, I'm very eclectic. So you don't know what you're going to hear, but most of my genre is going to be some soul, some classics, some soulful house, new soulful house, Afro, deep. I don't like new disco. Anything that, deep instrumentals, Latin vibes, a lot of the stuff from New York came from a Latin environment. A lot of the music that we hear is Afro and Latin rhythms. And, it just pulls you in. I don't speak Spanish, but it speaks to me.
Okay. So listen, it's been a pleasure to have you on my show, Les. And I'm very flattered for the information that you've actually given the viewers. And I would definitely like to be a guest on your show. Anytime that you're ready to sit me up. And this has been another T-Lo video production. My guest, one master mixer, aka Les Calloway,
aka musicologist, aka
right. Okay. Well, listen, you guys check out his show. Check out his whole outlet as far as what he's doing right now. Support him and try to get all the information you can, especially if you want to get started with this business. So, like I said, this has been another T-Lo video production, and I thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks so much.
It's not just mine, it's or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
Just mine, his or her house. This is our house.